Sunday School. I am so happy that you decided to join us again this week for Sunday School. I'm excited to tell you that we have another family event planned for October. It is Saturday, October 24th at 4 p.m. This event will be a pumpkin carving event. We are getting pumpkins donated. We'll have tables set up outside so that we can all carve pumpkins together. I do ask that you bring your own carving tools since we won't be able to share this year. I will be sending emails out to your families with more details regarding this event. One thing we are asking is that you, if you think you're coming, that you could just sign up and let us know that so that we know approximately how many pumpkins to get. But I do understand sometimes plans change at the last minute. If you did not sign up and all of a sudden your plans change and you can come, that is absolutely fine. We will certainly have some extra pumpkins, but we certainly don't want to have anyone donate 30 pumpkins if we're only going to need 5. So that's the only reason we're asking people to sign up, just to get an idea of approximately how many pumpkins we will need. So please watch for that email, and I look forward to seeing everyone then. Again, remember that you have 3 ways that you can worship with us each Sunday. One is our YouTube service, which is found on our YouTube channel. Another way is 8 o'clock in the morning. Each Sunday morning, we have a communion on the lot service. And then each Sunday morning at 9:30 a.m., we have a sanctuary service, which is a service in our sanctuary. We do ask that you wear masks and you socially distance when you find your seats so that everyone will stay safe. I hope that you find one of those 3 ways to worship with us each Sunday. We're going to get started today by having a thumb war. Tommy here is going to be my helper, and he and I are going to have a thumb war. If you've never had a thumb war, you start by putting your hands together like this, and your thumbs are up. Then you do 1, 2, 3, 4, I declare thumb war. Then you right away start to try and get the other person's thumb underneath yours, like that. I just lost. Tommy likes to beat me. You can tell by his face. Let's try it again, Tommy. 1, 2, 3, 4, I declare thumb war. I really want to win. I won! Let's do it one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, I declare thumb war. Oh, he beat me again. I guess he's the winner today. Tommy, thank you for helping me. I would like you to go find someone in your house that you can have some thumb wars with. Have you ever fought with someone? With a brother or a sister, or maybe even a close friend? Even though we fight with people that we care about, we do still care about them. We fight with people because we want them to do things our way, and we want to be in control. We don't want them to control us or do it their way. Sometimes it could happen when you're playing with toys. You don't want to play with the game the way the other person does, and so we fight about it. It doesn't mean you don't care about them, and you do. You just want to be in control. Just like when Tommy and I were thumb wrestling, we both wanted to have our thumbs on top, and we wanted to control the fact that we could push the other thumb down. I only was able to do that, I think, one time, but Tommy did that several times. But it doesn't mean that Tommy and I don't love each other and get along, because that was just kind of a fun way to show that. But we both wanted to be in control of that situation. And in today's story, we're going to hear about twin brothers who didn't always get along. They didn't get along even before they were born. Before we read our story, let's say a prayer. Fold your hands and close your eyes. Dear God, thank you for giving us our families. Help us to love them even when we don't get along. Help us to learn from today's story. Amen. Last week, we learned about Abram and Sarah, baby, and they had a baby son, Isaac. Today, our story is going to be about Isaac, But when he's all grown up and ready to have a child of his own, and he actually doesn't have one child in today's story, he has two. He has twins, and they're twin brothers. And I want you to listen to see how those twin brothers get along in our story. If you're reading from the actual Bible, it's in the book of Genesis, that first book of the Bible again. We're starting in chapter 25, verses 19 through 34. So you're going to read that section first. Then you're going to jump from chapter 25 over to chapter 27 and read verses 1 through 40. So it's a longer one again this week, so you can have somebody help you read it, or maybe you love to read and want to read it on your own. However you decide to do it is just fine. If you don't remember the verses, you can always look at your pamphlet. The verses are right up there. Again, I'm going to be reading from the Spark Story Bible. I'm reading the story. Isaac's blessing. Rebekah and Isaac asked God for a child. God gave them not one baby, but two. Twins! Kick, jab. Rebekah could feel the babies pushing and pulling on each other inside of her. God, she prayed, why are my babies fighting? They were in a race to be born first, God answered. Your family will be different. Your younger son will be the leader of the older one. This was a surprise to Rebekah. The oldest child was usually the leader of all the brothers and sisters. Wah! Esau was born first. He was hairy and red. Wah! Jacob was born next. He had smooth skin. The race was so close that Jacob was born holding on to Esau's foot. Before long, the twins grew into men. They were very different. Esau was big and strong. Esau made Isaac very proud because he was a hunter. Jacob was smaller than Esau and very quiet. Rebekah loved that Jacob stayed around home. When Isaac became old and blind, it was time to give his blessing to his oldest child, passing on the leadership of the family. Since Isaac couldn't see, he rubbed Esau's hairy arms to make sure he had the right son. Esau, he said, bring me dinner and I will bless you. Rebekah was listening. Jacob, she whispered, hurry, cover your arms with hairy goat skins to fool your father. Rebekah remembered that God said Jacob would make a better leader for the family than Esau. So Jacob dressed up like Esau and brought Isaac dinner. The plan worked. Jacob tricked Isaac into making him the new leader for the family. So Jacob and Esau were opposites, even though they were brothers. I am sure some of you are different than your brothers and sisters, if you have them, or even a close friend. Even though your brothers, you love your brothers or your sisters or your close friends, sometimes we don't get along. In our story, Jacob was the quiet one and he liked to stay home. He tricked his brother Esau. I bet some of you like to play tricks on your brothers and sisters. And so Jacob played a trick on Esau. And Esau was the brother that was big and strong and liked to go hunting. And even he tricked him to become the leader of the family. And I guess that's what God wanted, but it's not always nice to trick people, is it? People can be opposites and be very different, but still get along. And that's because God helps us get along, which is what I want you to remember from this lesson, that even though the brothers didn't get along all the time, I know that God helped them get along some of the time. All right. So again, we have our pamphlets. In today's pamphlet, this younger pamphlet, you have a story that you can read, and the pictures tell you the words, and then you can read along. And again, you have your stickers that you can look at as well and put on your paper. You have some activities on the inside. This one's a fun one. You can look at different, if you do thumbprints or fingerprints, and you can then make them into people and notice that all the thumbprints are different, just like we're all different, and God helps us all get along. All right, that's the idea of that activity. And on the back of this one is some fun tricks. Sometimes it's okay to trick people, especially as we're getting closer to trick or treat and Halloween. Sometimes people play tricks on each other, or April Fool's Day, you play tricks, but they have to be fun. They can't be hurtful in any way or mean in any way, but there's some fun tricks that you might try out at home on someone. And then for my older kiddos, again, you have a story up here. And then you have some twin Bible verses where there's Bible verses that are very similar at two different spots in the Bible. And then this one is about making bracelets, which is really the activity we're going to do, but we're not going to make paper bracelets unless some of you decide to. So today we're going to make bracelets. You can use yarn, you can use string. If you have beads at home and string, you could make a beaded bracelet. You can make it however you want. If you aren't sure how to make a bracelet at home with the thing, don't go out and buy anything. Just use things you have at home. I'm sure your parents can help you figure out what you have at home to make a bracelet. I'm going to make a bracelet using 3 pieces of yarn. I have 2 of the one color and 1 of the other. I am just going to make a knot at the top, and a grown-up can always help you if you're not sure how to do that, like that. And then I'll do it. I'm going to take a piece of tape and I'm going to tape it to a surface. You can't see this, but you know that I look at things sometimes. So I'm going to tape it. I have a music stand standing here right in front of me that I keep my notes on so that I remember what I'm saying to you. I wish I wouldn't need it, but I do. And then I'm just going to braid it. I'm not going to braid it the whole way, but I'll braid it part of the way to show you what it looks like. Oh, I think I'm making knots. Here we go. Like I said, you can make it however you want to make it. Some of you may have made bracelets before. So that's the start of my bracelet. It's braided, and like I said, I had tape. And then when I get to the bottom, I can make a knot and then tie it around my wrist. Really, you could just take 3 pieces of yarn like this and tie it around and have a pretty bracelet like that. So however you decide you want to make your bracelet is absolutely fine. But what I want you to think about is we're all making bracelets. Now, I decided to use yarn, but even though Katie lives in my house and listens to Sunday school, she might pick something different in our house to make her bracelet. So our bracelets, while are all going to be bracelets, just like brothers and sisters might all be related, like in our story, as our Esau and Jacob were related, and we're twin brothers, and you always think of twins being the same. Well, they're the same because they're kind of like bracelets are the same, but even twins are very different, just like Esau and Jacob were very different. So I want you to remember that, because we're all making bracelets, but we're all making different bracelets. So even though we're all the same because we're all people, God helps us to get along. And the idea of getting along, we can put it all together and make our bracelet, and it just goes around and it keeps us all very happy and getting along, because God is always helping us to get along. I hope you had fun making your bracelets today, and I would love to see what you made. So please have your parents take pictures of your bracelets, or pictures of you wearing your bracelets would even be better. And I would love to see those, so you can always email them to me. So before we finish, let's fold our hands, close our eyes, and say a prayer. Dear God, it seems kind of weird that brothers in the Bible story today were fighting and not getting along. Thank you for loving us no matter what, even when we don't get along. And thank you for helping us to get along with our brothers and sisters and with our friends. Amen.